Yo guys, what's up? It's Circle 2 Square here. Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be doing our first NFL mock draft for the 2021 NFL mock draft, like I said. And we're going to be doing the Trevor Lawrence class, and that's going to be today. January 14th, 2021. I am recording this, but it's coming out on Saturday, of course. So let's get right into this mock draft. Let's go. Okay, so the Jaguars have the first overall pick, and the Jaguars are going to select Trevor Lawrence, of course. They are officially, I'm pretty sure, bringing in Urban Meyer to be their head coach, a great culture builder, a great coach in general, and it depends on who he brings into his staff, because this could be really good for the Jaguars. The Jaguars already have some decent receivers in DJ Chark, Kean Cole, Laviska Shenault. You have Colin Johnson, who I loved out of Texas last year. Defense needs a little bit of work, but if you build around Trevor Lawrence, that's what you're going to be. He's the face of the franchise, and that's what you need to start a rebuild with, a quarterback. You need to start with a quarterback. Okay, so the Jets with the number 2 overall pick will be taking Penei Sewell. I think that the Jets need to give Sam Darnold one more year with a competent coach, competent GM with Joe Douglas, and then just build around him. Because if you build around Sam Darnold and see what he can do, if he does well, good. You get a guy who's on a cheaper deal because he hasn't performed well in past histories except for this year, and then you get a bunch of good cheap deals from the offensive line like Penei Sewell and other draft picks that you're going to bring in. They're going to be high picks in all the rounds. Build the defense a little bit, get the offensive line healthy, and build more offensive line, sign more offensive linemen in free agency, get some weapons from Sam Darnold. You're going to be set. If you can develop Sam Darnold, why would you waste a pick like on Justin Fields or something and just restart a quarterback? When you have Sam Darnold there, it's like a canvas. You just have to just put people around him and be able to develop him as a talent and not rely on him to be just go out there, be Superman, because some quarterbacks can't do that. Like, Ben Roethlisberger can't do that right now. He used to, but he can't. Like, Aaron Rodgers, he can do Superman. He can carry a fucking team on his back. But then guys like Darnold who can't. Like Jimmy Garoppolo. Perfect example. He has to have the team around him for him to succeed, essentially. So with Miami's pick, Miami's tough pick here because it's the Houston pick. But they traded it for Laramie Tunsil. And now the Miami pick, I think, is going to get traded again, to be honest. I don't think they really value this spot because they want Penei Sewell. I'm 100% sure. They have to go offense here. Their defense is really good. But offensively, Tua needs a year of development. Like, this was his year of development. You played him. You wanted to see where he's at. And he's a average to below average starter right now. But you just need him a true offseason to work with his weapons. And this is why I'm going to actually not select the guy from LSU. I'm going to select the Heisman winner from Alabama, Devonta Smith, to go play for the Dolphins right now, unless they trade out of this pick, which is most likely to happen. Maybe with Chicago at 20, maybe with the Lions to leapfrog the Falcons. We could see the Cowboys if they don't resign Dak Prescott. Ugh. And you could see that with the 49ers. You could see that with maybe the Patriots too. If the Patriots want to get ballsy and like, give up some of their future to go get their quarterback, you could see some of those teams jump up and skip Atlanta for a pick. But obviously no trades in this draft because I don't have premium on the draft network. But Atlanta Falcons, I'm going to take Justin Fields, the guy from Ohio State / Georgia. I think they need a reset at quarterback. I think they need a reset just in general in the face of their franchise. And Justin Fields is going to be great for them. He's a great leader. He can do all of that. He can make all the throws. He can run. That's especially going to be good. Compared to like Matt Ryan now, like they can get out of his deal and get him off the. I don't think they like want to get him off the team, but like they might need to save a lot of money because this team really needs a rebuild. And right now they don't have a head coach. I'm pretty sure they haven't signed one. They've interviewed Bieniemy, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they've interviewed Saleh. Maybe Arthur Smith and whoever their interim head coach was. Raheem something. He was like a D-backs coach, but like they're interviewing him. It really depends on who they want because then that coach is going to bring in their guy. This pick could be Zach Wilson. We don't know. On the Bengals here, I think the Bengals, it's a tough pick here because this is also a trade-down spot for the Bengals if they can't get Penei Sewell. And I don't know. I don't feel like the Jets would ever pass up on Penei Sewell unless they're going to go quarterback. because the second most valuable position in football is the offensive tackle. We all know this because if you have a terrible offensive tackle, your quarterback is going to get killed out there. Especially, not even just offensive tackle, offensive guard, center, any of those positions. Someone can get killed out there. So I don't know what the Bengals do. I'm looking at this board, not Zach Wilson. I don't think they go wide receiver. They have too many. They have T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, John Ross, Auden Tate, and like role players. Same thing with Waddle. My gut says Surtain, just because of the fact that I think they're letting William Jackson go free agency. I don't know if he's a free agent or not. Scratch that. The corners aren't the greatest, and it would be a smart idea to pick Surtain just to build the defense and go for offensive tackle later, because there are some good guys in the top of the second, maybe even the third round. But I don't know if their tight ends are really that good. Like, Uzama went down with an injury, I'm pretty sure. So it was Drew Sample, I think it was, and like someone else. I'm going to take the weapon Kylie Pitts here. I'm going to take the weapon. He's such a difference maker that it's going to help Joe Burrow so much. And especially if Zach Taylor can figure out how to use him, it's going to be great. I think it's kind of like a Noah Fant situation with the Denver Broncos. They didn't know how to use him year one, but like year two, he like exploded. Not like 1,000 yards, but like I think 600 yards maybe. And the Eagles now take Jamar Chase. I think that Devonta Smith right now, in theory, is the better wide receiver just because he's played an entire college football season. He basically didn't get injured until like the last game, which kind of sucked. I think it was just an arm, so it wouldn't affect him that much. It wasn't like a knee injury or anything. You have a lot more tape on him compared to Jamar Chase, but Jamar Chase is 6'3". He's a mix of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Jalen Reagor combined, and like if they were like 2 years more experience, like that's what Jamar Chase is. He's a difference maker that can go on all three levels. He can catch the ball contested. He can make plays, and that's what the Eagles need. The Eagles need to build around Carson Wentz with whatever head coach they have. It doesn't matter. You get a wide receiver, one of those two, because unless a team is going to trade up for a wide receiver, which is most likely unlikely to happen, you're going to get one of these two. And it's literally 1A, 1B. It doesn't matter. They could literally both be one. It doesn't matter. I'm taking Jamar Chase. So with the Lions pick, it's between Jalen Waddle and Zach Wilson right now. And I think that the Lions, if they do trade Matthew Stafford, it's like, Matthew, we're a developing team right now. We're not tanking. We're rebuilding. And we want you to win a ring with Detroit. We always love you winning a ring. But right now, we need to trade you. We want to trade you to get some assets and for you to try and win a Super Bowl. That's what they're going to try to do. Maybe a New England, maybe a Colts. Maybe if Tom Brady retires this year, Drew Brees retires, you trade him to the Saints or some shit like that. And then they trade for Zach Wilson. They get Zach Wilson. It's a perfect spot. They're never going to get a franchise quarterback at that, like a top tier franchise quarterback. But like now, take him now and then develop him. You can build around Matthew Stafford in free agency. You're bringing in a new head coach. I don't know who. I haven't heard any rumors about who they're bringing in. But for right now, I'm taking Zach Wilson. I think that my quarterback order is Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and then Zach Wilson. I think that Zach Wilson has some flaws in him. I think he needs a little bit of development. But honestly, I could see him as a day one starter right now. But he'd struggle. He'd struggle, of course. So now Carolina. I think that Carolina's a tough one because we can go Surtain. I didn't pay attention to corners that much for Carolina. I don't know how Dante Jackson did. I think he did pretty well. They have like Troy Pride and like someone else. I don't remember who. Jeremy Chun. Fuck. Why didn't the Eagles draft him? No, but they have Jeremy Chun at safety. He's been a difference maker as like a box safety. You could go Surtain to be the number one. You could go Micah Parsons to be that linebacker, that kind of Luke Kuechly cerebral guy. But he's not really that linebacker. He's a flow to the guy to go get the fucking ball carrier or that quarterback. He's a pass rusher. He's also a decent linebacker. But Teddy Bridgewater, you saw it this year. He struggled a little bit. He couldn't make some plays. And that's why I'm bringing in Trey Lance. I'm going to take a fourth quarterback. So yeah. You take Trey Lance here. I think Trey Lance needs at least half a year to develop, to really learn the speed of the NFL, to really get it. I would have to say. And I think that Teddy Bridgewater could do that. If he struggles halfway through the season, play him. You're going to have Christian McCaffrey healthy. You're going to have DJ Moore. You're going to have Curtis Samuel. You're going to have Robbie Anderson. That's a great receiving core. Tight end, Ian Thomas. Maybe you pick a tight end in like the 3rd round. Build around Trey Lance. Get him a safety net. So the Broncos here, I think the Broncos have to go Patrick Surtain. No doubt in my mind, they have to go corner. Kwity Paye could be interesting, but I think he's more of a 4-3 than a 3-4. Micah Parsons also could be interesting. But what really sells it for me is, if you look at the corner class, there's like top tier guys like Patrick Surtain, Caleb McFarley, J.C. Horn, and Eric Stokes. Those are like the top 4 guys. And then 5 down, it's really hard to narrow. And I think there's a major drop off between those 4 and the bottom like 20. There's a major drop off. Like Asante Samuel Jr. I think he's like a 2nd, 3rd round low key guy. Tyson Campbell, same thing. Eric Stokes is going to be a late first. Why did I even mention him? Sean Wade's a slot corner, and I don't think he's going to be that good, to be honest, even though Ohio State keeps pumping out cornerbacks. Paulo Abdul, he's okay. He's going to probably be a 4th rounder. That Israel Amukara. But then we look at linebacker. We have Micah Parsons, J.O.K. We have Zaven Collins, Nick Bolton, Dylan Moses. I haven't seen Cameron McGroon that much. Peter Warren and Jabril Cox. Like, there's less of a drop off here from Micah Parsons down. There's obviously a drop off, but there's not too much of a drop off because all of these guys can probably play day one and at least be a serviceable role player. Like, these guys, I don't think so. I'm gonna take Patrick Surtain here. Dallas really wanted Patrick Surtain, but I think they have to go somewhere else. I think they have to focus somewhere else on the defense because getting pressure is their number one goal, especially in a Dan Quinn defense, and that's who they just hired as a defensive coordinator. And Aldon Smith, I think he's on a 1 year, so if they re-sign him, then go ahead. They don't have a lot of cap just because they're going to have to try and re-sign Dak Prescott, because if they don't, they literally have to hit a reset on their entire fucking team, at least at quarterback, because they're not bringing back Andy Dalton. And DeMarcus Lawrence hasn't been the same since his injury in 2019. So I want to bring in a young guy. You could go with Micah Parsons here, but I think that Jalen Smith just needs to be healthy. And same thing with Lane Varnish. I think this year gives him a little bit of help. We went edge rusher. Now the New York Giants. The New York Giants are going to take Micah Parsons. They just need a linebacker, a dynamic linebacker to do everything on that fucking team. They have a great defensive line, but like linebacker is kind of a struggle right now. And if Joe Judge can get Micah Parsons, that'd be great for his team. Now at 12, I thought about like drafting a quarterback, but looking at the quarterbacks, Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, not a top 16 quarterback. Those two are not top 16. They're late first, second rounders at best, maybe 3rd rounders if they really tank the combine. But I'm looking at the board right now. I wouldn't take Waddle. I wouldn't take Waddle here. I think you have enough. I think you've got a lot of good wide receivers, and just adding another one would really hurt the load, especially with like Debo and Ayuk and whatever his name is, Kendrick Bourne. I would go Farley here. I think your corners are getting. I think Sherman's like 33 at this point. Verrett's like early 30s. Kawan Williams, I think, is late 20s. You don't really have a young corner like Akella Witherspoon that has really developed. Farley is very similar to Akella in height, weight, and like attributes like that. I think he's a better corner than Akella and could really replace Richard Sherman at this point. We could go offensive line like Sam Cosmi, but I just don't think that. I just don't think that Trent Williams played bad enough to be replaced with a new draftee. So here with the Chargers at pick 13, I could go Jalen Waddle. I don't think the Chargers did bad with their wide receivers this year, especially with Justin Herbert. I know you want to build around him, but the same thing with Sam Darnold is that you need to build an offensive line. Cosmi right now is the best tackle predicted on the Draft Network. I think that Christian Darrisaw could also be here. I think he's been really good and underrated for most teams. I need to watch more film on these offensive linemen. I haven't done too much. I've only known about Penny Sewell since like last year. But I'm going to take the top guy in Sam Cosmi here to really build around Justin Herbert. So with Minnesota now, I'm not gonna take a wide receiver. I don't think you should take offensive line. I think they have a decent offensive line, and you can get like a decent tackle in the second round, like an Eichenberg or a Dylan Rasmus. Carmen's not bad either, or even Walker Little. You could grab them as like a mid-round pick and still start them over Mike Remmers. But I think the place where you really struggled and you missed Linval Joseph and Sharif Floyd was Christian Barman also declared like earlier today, so you could take him. But I want to take the best defensive lineman in the Big Ten and just in general, and that's Davion Nixon from Iowa. I've watched some of his tape and some of his highlight mixes. Man, he looks so good. He's not like an Aaron Donald type, because no one could ever be like Aaron Donald except for Jalen Twyman. But I think he's very close to where Linval Joseph and Sharif Floyd were at their prime. So like right now, he's very good, very good. So New England now. New England actually, I feel like New England really wanted Kyle Pitts. I mean. I think they have to go Jalen Waddle here. I would go Jalen Waddle just to get that insured deep threat, because obviously Edelman he's coming back, but he's coming back from injury. You have Jacoby Myers, who had actually a really decent year with Cam Newton. You have N'Keal Harry, who can't stay healthy, which is a shame, because I really like N'Keal Harry coming out of college. And I just want to see Waddle on this team, because I feel he would be so explosive. Like, when's the last time New England had a very explosive weapon? I would think that Randy Moss would be the last one in my mind. Cardinals now. I think that Cardinals could go offensive tackle. Now, I feel like they could go edge rusher right here, Joseph Osai. But there's J.C. Horn right here. I don't think you go linebacker. I think that Isaiah Simmons is now defined as a role as kind of like a box safety linebacker hybrid-ish. So I think you have J.C. Horn here to play that other outside corner and really to kind of replace that Patrick Peterson kind of role, and being the outside, being the dominant leader on the outside. Like, Byron Murphy plays good in the slot, and I don't think you can ever play outside. With pick 17, I think that the Raiders have many options here. I really want them to go linebacker. They could go offensive line like a Wyatt Davis, or you could go quarterback. I don't think John Gruden would leave Derek Carr like that. I think you give Derek Carr one more year. I'm really looking at this. You could go, I think, because Nick Kotowski played decent, but he's more of a run stuffer than a pass, like a pass cover linebacker. Same thing with Corey Littleton. I'm kind of mad he didn't go to the Eagles, but the Eagles probably didn't offer him a contract just because they knew this was probably going to happen with him. Like, he was good with the Rams, but then he didn't really have success with the Raiders. And then you had like Raekwon McMillan. Those guys are good. I think you can get better though. I think you can get better. I think it's either JOK or Zaven Collins. But I just love Zaven Collins and how he plays in like small school, but that's kind of Gruden's thing. He loves that speed, and that's where I'm gonna go. Miami is a tricky one because I think you still need to go offense. Like, I don't think you need to touch the defense. The defensive side is so good unless you get an injury, which you could take Gregory Rousseau as a developmental guy, but you have Christian Wilkins, you have the elder Alabama guy. It was a D tackle. I don't remember. I know they picked him up in like the second round or third round last year in the virtual draft. You could go like a Bateman or something like that, but you already have a Devonta Smith. I think you need to invest in the offensive line. Robert Hunt, who played right tackle this year, can also play guard. So I think I'm gonna take Darrisaw here. Darrisaw is an underrated tackle, and again, I haven't watched a lot of him and Rashawn Slater's like tape, but I've been hearing that he's so good and like so underrated for the novelists out there, like who don't know who he is. And like, I'm just gonna do more work on him. I'm gonna watch more film and do all of that. Okay, so the Washington football team, maybe the Washington Red Tails. You never know. I feel like you can't go quarterback. I don't think there's a good quarterback here, especially if it's 19 and you really want to build it on your team. You could go wide receiver. I could just see you going wide receiver, but looking at this wide receiver class, there's so many good talents, especially in the second and third round. Like like Sage Surratt, Seth Williams, Tylan Wallace, Zay Newman, Schwartz, Williams. You got Shai Smith. Dude, Choo Atwell, ooh, Ronnie Bell, dude, some of these guys are going to be good. Kate Johnson, TJ Vasher, underrated height, weight, speed guy, 6'6", he's going to run the 4.5s. I'm going to take Rashawn Slater here. I think they need to get their next franchise tackle. Trent Williams is great for several years, but it sucks how like injuries derailed like his love of Washington. Like there's so many possibilities, but this defense is the identity of the Washington football team right now. And if you just add a little bit to the trenches and make this offense serviceable and decent and complementary to the defense. So here with Chicago Bears are a perfect team to really trade up and go get someone. If you give Trubisky one more year to really see what he can do, and you're going to lose Allen Robinson because he says he's going to most likely hit free agency, I'm targeting maybe a Terrence Marshall Jr. He's 6'3", 200 pounds. He's very similar to Allen Robinson's size. He has obviously isn't as developed as Allen Robinson, an elite receiver as Allen Robinson is. But if you can get that connection going between him and Trubisky, like you have in him and Allen Robinson, it's gonna be great because he needs a big body threat. I feel like Mitch just needs a guy who he really rely on, and they really didn't have that for several years of Chicago. No tight ends like Jimmy Graham. Who else was there? I forget the tight end before Jimmy Graham. They have Cole Kmet, who's gonna be probably the next big safety net, maybe. But if you got a guy like Terrence Marshall who can do similar things to Allen Robinson, I think it's going to be good for Trubisky. I don't think he's a bust. I think he's in the next great LSU wide receiver alongside Jamar Chase for this rookie class. So here with the Colts, the Colts are debatable what they want to do. I don't think they take a quarterback. I think they either stick with Jacob Eason, maybe a year off, maybe sign a veteran, or get Phillip back for one more year and try and make one more playoff run. I think that Phillip Rivers is almost done. I think this is like either this year or next year is going to be his last. Ben Roethlisberger done after this year. You could go Joseph Asai. You could go edge rusher here. I think that they need to work on their defense or even tackle because Anthony Costanzo from Boston College, offensive tackle, just retired. So looking at this offensive line class, I think you can grab a guy like Walker Little or even Mike Vrabel's son, Tyler Vrabel. That'd be really funny if the Colts take him. But yeah, you could see a developmental offensive tackle and kind of like plug and play starter, or even Quentin Nelson at tackle and have someone else at guard. You could look at interior line. I think that wouldn't be bad at all to bring in a guard and then move Quentin Nelson out to tackle. Looking at edge. Ooh, I love me some J.Lo Phillips. I liked him when he first came to UCLA, and then he left for medical reasons, and now he's back in Miami, and that's a great story from him. And I think he's a first-round talent. I 100% think he's a first-round talent. Like, no doubt in my mind, he's such a great edge rusher. I think that if the Colts get him right and develop him right, I think with Matt Eberfleur, I think that's his name, as the D coordinator, like, if they develop him really well, he could really do really good things, and especially being mentored by Justin Houston, one of the greatest pass rushers of this decade. Okay, Tennessee also could go edge rusher here. I think that they don't re-sign Jadeveon Clowney, Vic Beasley, or any of the guys. I think they need to go young. Offensive tackle wouldn't be a bad idea. Jalen Mayfield or Eichenberg right now. I think Leatherwood would be a sizable tackle, 6'6", but I think he's more of a guard. But he can swing tackle if you really need him to. I don't think you go quarterback here. I think you give Ryan Tannehill. I wouldn't go wide receiver right now. If you let Corey Davis go, that's kind of going to be a shame because he's a top 5 pick, and he played better. He played better this year than I've seen. Azim Ojulari or Joseph Asai. But then I saw this guy coming out of it, and I'm going to take Joseph Asai. He's a good 3-4. I think he's more of a 3-4 edge rusher than a 4-3 edge rusher just because of his size and his length. I really like that about him. Okay, so we're at pick 23 now. The Jets come back. I think that the Jets, I don't think this is a running back kind of draft where you draft them in the first round. I don't think so. You could go, oh, dude, he's looking really good. And do you spend 2 picks on offensive linemen? Do you want to pull in Atlanta Falcons? No. I'm kind of looking at the defense right now. Because I think you get a wide receiver in the second round, like a decent wide receiver in the second, third round, and then draft like Najee Harris or ETN with the high second round pick that you have. But I think I'm going to go JOK here. I think they need a linebacker that really can be a leader on that defense. I think, again, they have pieces on that defense, but they just don't have. They need to develop guys. I'm going to take JOK here. Jeremiah Owasu Koroma. I think that's how you say it, at least. Okay, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think that the Steelers need to go offensive tackle. I think they need to rebuild this offensive line for whoever's going to be their next quarterback. Whether it's, you could go running back. I've heard buzz about running back, but you have James Conner, you have Benny Snell, you have whoever else, Jalen Samuels. You have a staple of guys there. You could grab a Chuba Hubbard later, a Kellen Hill, Puka Williams. I'm going to be rooting for Puka Williams. Love him. Could go tight end. Eric Rebound hasn't extended, but I think I'm going to go Jalen Mayfield, the best tackle prospect on the board right now. I think he's going to be a really good tackle if you just give him a year to develop. I think that he's got the size to play tackle. I think he's got the guys around him to really help him. And I think this team is going to have to start being a young team. They're going to have to let go of some of their veterans on the offensive side, at least. Ben Roethlisberger probably isn't coming back. So I'm going to sign Jalen Mayfield, or draft him. I mean, with the Jaguars here, I think the Jaguars need to, again, build around Lawrence, like I said before, because that's the only way you're going to succeed. I don't think they go running back. I don't think they go wide receiver. Line could be Rousseau. No, not a good edge rusher right now, at least for their scheme. If it's a 4-3, like Urban Meyer's going to run, or whoever's going to run it, but I know who I'm going to take. Let's grab the only round 1 tight end I think that's going to go. Pat Freiermuth. He's a great tight end from Penn State. He's going to be that safety blanket because the Jags don't have a great tight end. I don't even know who they have at tight end, to be honest. I'm trying to think, because the last tight end I remember, like I think it's Tyler Eifert. And he's obviously not he's not his former self, like 2016, 2017. He's not his former self. So I'm going to take Pat Freiermuth, link up with Trevor Lawrence. They're going to be a dynamic duo. Actually, he's going to be a dynamic 5-some. Six-some. Running back, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a young quarterback. Oh my. Jags are going to be scary if they get the offense clicking. So it is the Cleveland Browns time. I think the Cleveland Browns, really looking at it, you could go 3-headed running back. You could also go Rashad Bateman. I think that he's very similar to Jarvis Landry, but I think they need a burner. I think that you go Kadarius Toney here, or some sort of speed wide receiver. Get a guy that can take the roof off the defense. And Kadarius Toney if you just fucking watched his tape from this year, holy shit, he's a burner. He's probably gonna run the 4-3. Okay, so with Tampa Bay, I think that with Tampa you could grab an edge rusher in Z Ojulari. Yeah, he's right there. You could grab Eric Stokes at corner. I don't think you'd grab another corner here. You could go offensive tackle just to build more weapons around Tom Brady. I don't think Donovan Smith's that bad. I don't think he's bad, but I don't think he's great either. I think he's like below average right now. I don't think he's terrible. You could grab another offensive tackle later. You spent a first round on Tristan Wirfs. Now spend like a third round on Walker Little or Spencer Brown or David Falele. Like 6'8", 400 pounds. Holy shit. He's basically like a Jordan Mailata. But he needs development. And I think that's what Bruce Arians can do. You know what? Fuck it. I'm taking Kyle Trask here. I think this is a perfect range for him. Perfect, like, late first round. This is one of the only teams that needs a quarterback at this pick. Because franchise quarterback. Franchise quarter. Debatable. Franchise running back. But I just don't see them wasting a high pick, like a mid-teen pick, a late-to-teen, early 20s pick on these two who are second to late first round pick to like second round pick for these two. I don't think they're elite. I think they're going to be serviceable and good, but I don't think they're going to be elite. So the Ravens now. The Ravens, I think it's a toss-up pick. I think that you could go Rashad Bateman to really bring that size, but I think you go in free agency and get like a Kenny Galladay or some shit, or a freaking Allen Robinson, something like that. You could go interior, or you could grab a developmental guy because you have Derek Wolfe, 30, 31, injury history. You have Calais Campbell, 34, not injury, but he's really old. He still can do it, and he has a lot of wisdom to him. Getting a guy like Gregory Rousseau, I think he's more of a 3-4 edge rusher than a 4-3 edge rusher, interior rusher. He's 6'5", 260, could put on a little weight, and that's what you're going to do. You're also going to probably lose Matt Judon or someone on that linebacking core. Maybe he can fill in there, just as a hybrid. I'm going to take Gregory Rousseau here. Saints pick, I think we all know who this pick's going to be. It's going to be Rashad Bateman. I'm joking. It's going to be Mac Jones. I think they need to take a quarterback here. They need something as a quarterback resemblance besides Taysom Hill and maybe Jameis Winston. I think you have to take Mac Jones here because if Drew Brees doesn't come back, you are fucked. You are going to be an 8-8 team. You need to take a future right now. Sean Payton can develop quarterbacks. We all know this with Taysom Hill, with Drew Brees, with Mac Jones. He's perfect size. He's 6'2". He's about 200 pounds, maybe a little less, 210, something around that. And he's very similar to Drew Brees. He's very similar. He's a little taller, but with Bills, you could take corner, you could take linebacker. I really think that linebacker could go, but there's not really a first-round guy. Nick Bolton's not bad at all. He's not bad. Dylan Moses, same thing. You could go interior. I think I'm going to go corner Eric Stokes here. I think he's the last first-round corner. He's a good outside, good inside guy. He can really play. And that's where I'm going to take him right now. I'm going to take him. The Green Bay Packers, I'm going to actually take Rashad Bateman. I don't think Rashad Bateman's going to be a first-round pick unless a team really loves him. Because there are teams that just need more better things. Because the Green Bay Packers could go linebacker like Nick Bolton. Could go interior and then move someone to tackle if Bakhtiari isn't ready by the season start. You could go tackle, to be honest. You literally could go tackle. I wouldn't be mad with these two. You could go running back if you really want to shock the fucking world. You could go Barrymore. Defensive line's not a need, but you never could need too many pass rushers or edge, like linemen at least. But looking at wide receiver, I think that's your biggest need right now. I think you need weapons for not only Aaron Rodgers but for Jordan Love. Devontae Adams is what, 28, 29 now? When Jordan Love's probably going to hit his prime, Devontae Adams is going to be 34. Probably still kicking it, but you need a young guy like Rondale Moore, who is one of the shiftier guys and one of the gadget guys, but I think that Matt LaFleur needs a kind of guy like that on his team. So that's what I'm going to take Rondale Moore. So with the pick here for the Kansas City Chiefs, you're not going to go run back. You're not going to go Rashad Bateman. I think you're going to spend it either on the offensive line or you do. I wouldn't be mad if you took him. I would not be mad if you took him. Could go edge rusher. I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna take Ali Vadir Tucker. I've heard of him and I've heard good things about him. You know what? Take guard. I don't remember your last good guard. So we finished. We'll wait for that to save and then the heck? No. Where did my draft go? Hello? Well, I don't know where my mock draft went, but I'll recreate it if you want to come see it. Look at my channel. Look at there. Look right there. Look right there. Okay, guys, that has been the video. I hope you guys like this NFL mock draft. If you liked it, like that button. If you want to comment your favorite pick from this draft. If you want to criticize my picks, okay, I'll take the criticism. I'll learn from the fan base. Like, as a fan of your favorite NFL team, tell me what you want. Tell me who the beat reporters are thinking of. Tell me who they're thinking of. Because obviously I have different ideas. I'm an Eagles fan. I don't really know what's going on with the Texans organization or the fucking New England Patriots organization. I only know about the Eagles. Tell me more. Tell me more. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content from me, and also hit that notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload next. I'll be seeing you in the next video. I don't know what it's going to be, but I will see you there. Peace out. Bye.